Maybe because I was born on the Mediterranean, I feel so connected to this sea, to this land, to this light. Because the Costa Blanca is my passion, it's my life, it's who I am. It defines me as a person and sets me apart from the rest. Yes, it's important not to forget who we are and where we come from. That helps us understand the meaning of our lives. By this sea I was born and grew up, laughed and cried too, the emotions of life. Our land is health and well-being, the joy of living, in our own way, in our own style, authentic. That's why so many artists come to the Costa Blanca looking for inspiration, to capture the essence, that light that defines our character, and not just artists. So many people come here and stay. The sky, the landscape, the rosy sunsets, the warm sand under your feet, the sea breeze on your skin, the mountains, and seeing the sea from the heights. I love to close my eyes, take a deep breath, and feel the sun on my eyelids. As if the light was inside me. I can't explain it. As my grandmother used to say, life is full of inexplicable things. You have to live them, feel them. I had to live in other parts of the world to really value what we have here. I have everything I need. My future is here. I've learned to enjoy the little things, the little pleasures in life. And we know a lot about those. There's nothing more authentic than feeling happy in the place where you were born. And however hard I try, I can't explain it in words. Costa Blanca, authentically ours.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us today to our live webinar. And actually today we're going to talk about buying a property in Spain to live or to retire. We've been having a lot of questions about so much interest about living in Spain, retiring, even working with the normal visa that just came into force. And I'm happy to introduce you here to the panel. I have, from a lawyer's point of view, I have Pedro Heredia. Hello, Pedro, can you hear me?
Hello, Ignacio. Good afternoon, everyone.
Well, thank you for joining us. On the other south part of Spain, we've got Mr. Davies, Michael Davies. Hello, Michael. How are you today?
Hi, Ignacio. Hi, Pedro. Hi, everyone.
Right, and then we just took the opportunity to bring a developer that has been working in the Costa Blanca more than 50 years, a reputable one, and we thought it would be interesting for them to talk about the ways of living in this area. We've got María and Geli from EUROMARINA. Hello, good afternoon.
Gracias.
Right, we're going to start talking, and then we've got on the panel here. I mean, just please start sending us your questions, and from the panel we'll be able to answer to them. We're going to start talking about why Costa Blanca has become one of the best areas in Spain to live, and the cost of living, healthcare, gastronomy, culture and traditions, climate, etc., etc. From an area, a lot of you are going to say, okay, I'm trying to buy a property in Spain. First, you will see the area. And second, Michael and Pedro and myself will discuss about the top mistakes buyers make when buying a property in Spain. I'm going to pass over to Maria and Geli, and we will follow up. Over to you, ladies.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting us to this amazing and very interesting webinar. My colleague Angélica, Fernández, and myself, Geli Hernández, are representative of the company EUROMARINA that have started in 1972. And since then, Ignacio, we have built more than 37,000 properties around Costa Blanca and surrounding areas. And this particular time, we have more than 57 different nationalities living in our area. All these clients can't be wrong. All these clients have decided to live and enjoy our Spanish lifestyle. It's amazing. And both of us are here to transmit to you how nice it is and why is Costa Blanca the best place in Spain to live in. Angélica, please.
Indeed, Geli. Hi, good morning. Costa Blanca is one of the most popular destinations in Spain. It has 124 miles of wide sandy beach and spectacular Mediterranean weather the whole year. I don't know if you guys know that the Mediterranean Sea has a warmer effect during the winter time and a cooler effect during the summertime. And this perfect condition allow us to be outside more time, to be active, to enjoy the beautiful sky and fresh air is amazing. That's why statistics say that Spaniards take the lead for living longer. And these are only some reasons of why Costa Blanca for us is the best city to live in. You know, hear this, it's a fact. Last year, 2022, 40% of homes that were sold to international investors in Spain were here in Alicante province. And where is Alicante province? In Costa Blanca. It's the southeast part of Costa Blanca. So, Geli, do you think that is a good idea to buy a house here in Costa Blanca?
Oh, sure, of course. After that wonderful description, satisfied. And for those who love sport activities, golfing, cycling is the perfect place to be in. We have 360 days full of sunshine, beautiful blue sky. It's a real paradise to enjoy our climate. And please don't forget our extremely delicious Spanish Mediterranean cuisine, colorful paellas, fresh fish, and all this, imagine to silk with a beautiful glass of red wine on your balcony, enjoying the blue sky or beautiful sunset. Is that not a reason to say yes?
Oh, yes. I bet that you guys could be wondering, like, is that real? Can be like living in a paradise with a low cost? You know, this country's affordability in comparison, you know, with like most of the countries here in Europe and also in the United States is a sample of it. I'm not talking only about the properties. I'm talking about the cost of living in general. You know, I'm talking about the cost of food or gas, utilities, and most important, the health insurance, health coverage. In Spain, we have a lot of options, plenty of options of hospital, private and public hospitals, excellent healthcare. Spain gives the absolute access to the universal healthcare coverage, and that guarantee is guaranteed also for relocated workers and also for international investors who come here and can enjoy this service as any other Spanish citizen. That's why we want to invite you to see what makes us very unique, right, Helen?
Please, Angélica, and don't forget about the good transport infrastructures that we have in our area. Just 25 minutes from our properties, you have an international airport, Alicante, one of the 5 most busy airports in Spain. And if you wish to travel and learn our country, discover the rich culture we have, you can have the speed trains. In 2 hours from Alicante, you are in Madrid. Beautiful place to discover, 2 hours from your home. Travel by car, it's safe. I think our paradise, it's every time closer to you. And all of these points make the investment grow safely and secured.
Ignacio.
Okay. Thank you very much for the presentation of our area. It's nice listening to the beauty of things out of it. Now what we're going to do, I don't know if you want to show a little bit about some kind of properties you have in case somebody is thinking about type of villas or properties, and then we'll jump into,
yes,
you have a video or something?
A video for that. One from, please.
Okay.
At EUROMARINA, we've been building high-quality homes for over 50 years on the Costa Blanca and Costa Calida in Spain. Villas designed with exquisite taste by architects who are specialists in Mediterranean style. The residential apartments or semi-detached villas are characterized by their privacy, for their landscaped communal areas with impressive swimming pools, where you can socialize and share the happiness of living in this marvelous environment. Located in beach areas or very close to them, such as Ciudad Quesada, sunshine, beach, the Mediterranean, EUROMARINA, passion for making you happy.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know if you would like to add something, or shall we just join into probably the legal tips that everybody needs to do when buying a property in Spain? Do you have to add anything else, Maria and Heli?
No, please start.
So far?
We will join.
Okay, right. Then, okay, let's say somebody has decided to buy a property, the property of their dreams, and they say, okay, how do I start and put the things in motion? Is about buying a property in a safe way. I'm going to pass over to Pedro, and Michael and Pedro could comment because they've been expert lawyers, they've been dealing with property law many years, and I'm sure you will enjoy their advice. Over to you, Pedro.
Thank you, Ignacio, and thank you, EUROMARINA, also for the great video and great explanation about the Costa Blanca. It's nothing, I don't want to add obviously anything else. I live here in Costa Blanca, and I feel like very happy, obviously, and in the place I live. We normally, Ignacio and Michael, we travel a lot around Europe and around the world. We've been in many countries, and we feel like the place that we live obviously is fantastic. And this is why thousands and thousands and thousands of people come to Spain, and one of the areas that they come, it is in Spain, to establish residency and establish at the end, or an investment, just to at the end to put an investment. So today we're talking about buying a property. I mean, about buying a property. We will be trying to explain. Obviously, we will be answering some questions. I can see there are some questions right now to answer. But obviously, when you buy a property in Spain, we have to, let's say, divide instead of buying a property off plan, or divide a property like a second sale, like a one sale is already used. So off plan is when obviously a developer or a promoter is selling a property, and obviously there are some situations, some things that you need to check perfectly in order to obviously to buy in a safety way. And obviously in the other side, there is a second hand like property where there are some other issues that needs to be checked also with that. I will be explaining if Michael, let me speak about other off-plan, and also let's talk about also the second-hand properties, if you may agree. Michael, is okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, well, regarding the buying a property, a new property, obviously, when you buy a new property, it has many issues that are obviously secured because obviously there is a developer, there is a promoter that has already bought a land, owns a land, and has a license of construction. And because of that, it will be controlled by the city council, wherever is a municipality, and obviously will have some control in order to edify and construct the property which is already designed in that specific land. Which means that at the end, there is a process of construction. Obviously, it's a new building and will have to be finished according to the license, according to the requirements given by the city council in this case. So first thing is that that property has properly under the planning situation, under the planning law in that specific municipality. So normally, and I would say that it's very rare to say something, to see something that is not according to planning law, because it has a pillar which is a license to construct that property or that community of that edification, that building in that specific land. But obviously, in the process of buying a property, there is a situation where you start, because at the end, when you buy a property, an apartment or a villa, it's nothing there, it's just a land. Imagine that is just that. No? So there should be and must be some guarantees just in case the developer gets, for example, in a bankruptcy or gets in a pitfall, they say they do not complete accordingly to the license, they do not complete accordingly, or they just do not complete because it's a bankruptcy. You have to have guarantees in order to, whatever happens, you will get the money back. And this is obviously something simple, is something that is guaranteed and something that you need to apply for. There are many pitfalls that we've seen when buying an off-plan property. I will just say, I mean, this one is extremely important, as I said, is that, I mean, you need to require a bank guarantee on that. Also, you need to get a developer and a promoter, and we always say that a very reputable developer or promoter. And it's something that is very important because you can see already what kind of buildings they have done in the past. For example, I know EUROMARINA, they've been 40 years, and that is not usual. It means something very, very good. They've been 40 years building. You can see the latest building. They can see the reputable company. They can see very trust. You can trust on them because they financially they are accordingly perfectly in order to give you this guarantee that they are going to build and they're going to finish the building. This is obviously, it is important when you find a place to buy a property, when you find a developer, that developer is not new. It's not something that they opened it last year or 2 years ago. Someone who has already built many years and gives you this trust, this financial guarantee, this situation where you feel safe on buying a property. This is extremely important. So important also, as I said, you need to visit also some other sellers' promotion that has already been done. Okay. Obviously, in the process, obviously you will be informed about the apartment, the development, and everything. You have to be fully informed about absolutely everything, and you need to require, or maybe the developer. I mean, obviously, they will have to inform you about the description of the property, about the materials, about every single thing that they're going to build in your behalf in that specific property. That's a must. So we do not like that it is just general terms, which you will find in normally many contracts. General terms is okay, but also adding that some specific clauses, documents attached to like projects, like materials, like different budgets or extra budgets that you want to instruct to the developer according to your specific apartment or property, and that is also a must. Delivery date. I mean, you buy today, but the construction will be finished, let's say, in 2 years or in 18 months, or it is already finished, but is waiting for a license of occupancy. Well, all these things needs to be duly specified. We like this. I do not like open terms on the date of delivery, the date of completion, the date is going to give you the keys. Open terms are normally not good, but obviously this to be specified, and well, with some extension that may happen, some extension because of the license of occupation has not been given because of the fault of municipality or whatever. Well, that's perfect, but needs to be transparent and clear in the contract. Also, sometimes the developer has a mortgage in the development because they are financially also in order to develop, even though your money is guaranteed, they use some mortgage in order to finance this promotion, this development. Well, it is good you to be informed because maybe you can subrogate, maybe you can get these special conditions that the developer has already agreed with the bank. Well, why not maybe get a mortgage? Maybe you don't need it, but it's something that we always recommend to do. Obviously, with you have to be duly informed by the bank, duly informed by the developer, which are the conditions and which are the costs. Okay, and well, normally it starts with a basic reservation contract. You pay a small fee, let's say 6,000 or 10,000 euros, 5,000 euros, and then it starts a stage of payments during the process. Could be up to 40%, 50%, 60%, or maybe more. And during the process until you agree that the last payment, let's say 40%, 30%, 70%, whatever is agreed, is paid in the last payment. Whenever you get the keys, you make the last payment. All these payments that you have said need to be guaranteed during the process. And so there is a reservation document, then there is a private contract where appears all the conditions according to the contract, according to the property, the delivery date, when it's going to be given to you, completion, and obviously all the materials that everything is connected with the purchase will be described, fully described in this private contract. And will be set when it's going to be completion. Let's say it's, for example, we say that the completion is going to take 2 years time or 1 year and a half. Then on completion date, both parties, seller and buyer, goes to a notary office, which is a public office, and just finalize the transaction with the last payment and the last signature of a public deed, and they obviously give you the keys in order to from that date you will be there. So that is the process with the guarantees, and what we recommend obviously is firstly to choose a very reputable company, but obviously applying and requiring guarantees and be transparent on the information that is going to give into you, the description, and obviously to someone which is serious on this stage. Okay, well, I will be happy to answer any question you may have, but I will pass also to Michael to explain further the process of buying property also when it's a second sale.
Very good, Pedro. Thank you. Well, it's a fantastic explanation of the new property under construction procedure. So let's go quickly through the second-hand property procedure. So the first thing that I would do is I would find a good lawyer. In this case, up in the Valencia region, I definitely recommend Ignacio and Pedro. I've known them for many years. I'm based down in Andalusia. I always say that for unlike with litigation and inheritance, I always reckon that for conveyancing, you need someone that's fairly local to the property that you're purchasing, because otherwise it sometimes is not cost effective, and it's just good to have local knowledge of the area where you're buying. For example, people like Ignacio and Pedro will know all the builders and all the estate agents in the region where they sort of normally take on work. So basically, if you're buying a second-hand property, after you've found a lawyer, which I really recommend the first thing you do, and you find the property that you like, normally the estate agent is going to ask you for a small reservation, which is normally €3,000, to hold the property while your lawyer looks into things to make sure at least the basics are in good order. Then he will start organizing your powers of attorney in their name to request your NIE numbers, open your bank accounts, and handle the actual purchase procedure. The power of attorney can be signed to the local notary. Most lawyers, we always sort of have a notary nearby where we can get these things done very quickly, or he'll send the power of attorney over to the UK if you've only made the decision once you're actually back there. So basically, he will then ask for a retainer and move towards a 10% deposit contract. So he'll start doing all the searches in the property register, the town hall, etc. And then you'll move towards a 10% deposit contract. And normally you'll set a completion date at the notary within 2 to 3 months, which gives time for your buyer, your lawyer to organize all different things and possibly even a mortgage. As far as the completion, normally the lawyer will do it for you. At least in our case, we always act by power of attorney. And I think Ignacio and Pedro probably operate in that way as well, with the odd exception every now and again where a client just wants to be part of the fun. So he comes over and spends the morning at the notary with us. But normally the solicitor will do it all for you. And basically, you'll receive the keys on the day that you complete at the notary, and then it will take about a month and a half for the solicitor to process the document through the property register. And most lawyers will also, either themselves or through somebody that they contract, will organise the electricity, the water, the rates, the rubbish, community of owners, and set them all by direct debit on the bank account that you've opened up in Spain. So as far as expenses, if you buy a second-hand property, it's slightly cheaper than buying a new property. Very little. I'm talking about taxes, okay, not about the actual purchase price, simply because when you buy a new property, you pay VAT at 10% plus a document tax that I believe up in the Valencia region is 1.5. while if you buy a second-hand property, you just pay 10% transfer tax. I mean, it's no real big difference, but there's a difference in 1.5% whether you buy a second-hand property or a new property. That normally clients tell us that buying a new property more than compensates, because at the end of the day, you've always got to do some work on the second-hand property that is normally more than the 1.5% to bring it up to standards. So I know that wasn't very long, so I didn't have much time to go through it. So it's just sort of the explanation in a nutshell. And if anyone has any questions after, well, we can go through them. And as always,
okay, thank you, Michael.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, Michael, just if you could please put your email and your website as well, so clients who might be interested, if they are just trying to buy a property probably in the south part of Spain and everything, they could contact you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were going to say something, Michael?
Yeah, I was going to say something else, and that is that I can never stress it enough, because I do a lot of inheritance work, is all English people of other nationalities, when they buy a property in Spain, whether it's new or second-hand, or even if they're just in the process of it. So if you buy a property under construction, it can take a couple of years, make sure you organize a Spanish will for the Spanish assets. It's very, very important. There's very few people that don't make a will nowadays, but every now and again, we still come across them, and it does cause a lot of problems for the family. So, so that's that.
Okay, thank you, Michael, very much. Michael would just put his email address and his website, and then on the other side, if Maria and Geli could just put their email address as well, just in case people want individual questions direct to you. Okay, and I just want to reinforce here, as the panelists people said here, Michael, Pedro, and EUROMARINA, buying a property in Spain is safe. But you need to do things properly, as they said. You need to do things by the book. You need to make sure that your independent lawyer makes the due diligence and confirms everything is in order according to instructions, interest, and according to the law. Okay. As Pedro said, you could even buy a property with a mortgage that you could choose as well in a later stage. Or when you do the searches, I should say EUROMARINA is one of the few developers that when you do the due diligence and search, there is no charge against the property from a mortgage, so they finance themselves. But this is the sort of things that that we will need to look into the due diligence procedure, as Pedro said, for a peace of mind thing, like asking for bank guarantee, making sure that there is no charges against the property, and that everybody could perform their part, the buyer and the vendor. Now, I'm going to pass over to Pedro, Michael, Geli, and Maria to see whether they could bring any questions from the panel. I know, Pedro, a lot of people are asking here questions because, we're talking about the golden visa. I'm sure that Michael is dealing with a lot of golden visa down the south part of Spain. Pedro, I know you're dealing with a lot of them now, a lot of Americans coming over as well. And over there, to buy a property of 500,000 euros is not very difficult because of the property price over there. Would you like to give just a little bit, Pedro, on the questions, or would you like to just say something about the possibility about getting the visa side when they buy a property in Spain, and what is normally the time scale for getting the visa, and what is the time scale to buy a property in Spain? Over to you, Pedro.
Okay, thank you, Ignacio. I mean, a golden visa, and it's been one of the questions I can see about it, is an investment visa. A golden visa is when you invest, already invested also. You could also use something that is already invested, but it's 500,000 euros. That is the investment that you need to do in Spain in order to get golden visa. Golden visa is that at the end you have access to Spain. You can live in Spain 1 day or 365 days, and you can be resident if you may want to, and tax resident, but you could just make an investment and enter in Spain anytime you want, go back and forwards without being resident. Obviously, if you do not spend more than 180 days in Spain. This happens. We have a lot of clients that are buying properties or making investments over 500,000 euros, and then they are non-resident, but some of them, they want to be residents, or they bring the family and they enter in schools and they go back and forwards between countries and then Spain. An investment needs to be made 500,000 euros. Could be one property, could be 10 properties, 20 properties, 3 properties, it doesn't really matter. And can be bought one this year, the other one next year. Obviously, you will be able to apply whenever you make the 500,000 euros K. And do not have to be a mortgage on the 500,000 euros investment, but also you can apply for a mortgage. Let me explain you this. Imagine that you buy a property of 800,000 euros, or some properties of 800,000 euros together. At least you could be able to apply for a mortgage the 300,000 euros amount. So at the end, it means that you need to bring and invest in a Spanish property at least 500,000 euros. As I said, could be one property, but also could be many of them. And it doesn't matter if it's land, it doesn't matter if it's commercial, it doesn't matter if it's a villa or apartment or different apartments or a garage or a storage room. At the end, needs to have a concept of investment in property that can be registered in the property registry. Okay, a villa, apartment, land, garage, whatever. And obviously, do not have to be the place that you live. Could be, you could buy like 2 properties, which each one of them is like 300,000 euros. One of them you use it for your family, and the other one you just rent it and get some profit. Perfect. That's perfect. As an example, we have many clients that are doing that, for example. And well, the investment visa is a very rapid, let's say, it's one of the most rapid visas that whenever we make the application, it is you need to make the investment, obviously, needs to be inscribed in the property registry. This may take time sometimes. But once we have all the documents, which is the investment, the health insurance access, you could instruct some private insurance company, or maybe you have a right to have access to the public system, and as well as criminal records, medical certification, that simple documents that you will have to bring into the application that we make into the Golden Visa. Most important one is that you have to make the investment in Spain. Obviously, the criminal records, the health insurance, financial means, you need to show also to Spain that in case that you do not work, because you have the right to work and live in Spain if you wanted to, but in case that you decide not to work, and you have to show in Spain that you have enough money to live in Spain. Okay, and obviously you will be able to bring just yourself as a principal, whoever makes the investment, and your family members. Okay, I can see one of the questions here that is, I don't know the name, but I can read this. Someone is thinking of buying a property or investment of more than 500,000 euros with your 2 adult sons. And the question is, will all 3 of us then get Golden Visa benefits? I think the name is Drinker. The answer is no. In that case, we'll not be able to be, if it's adult sons, I understand the adult sons are independent, are not living with you, or maybe married, that will not cover a Golden Visa for all of you. In that case, if you want to invest all 3 together, should be 1.5 million investment in different properties, or one property at the end, at least. Okay, if it were sons that are depending on you, then I would recommend you to invest personally and then add to your application your sons. But this is something that I will be happy to have a proper conversation with you in order to be more accurate with this answer. But Ignacio, basically this is the Golden Visa. This is the investment visa, and you get it in 10 days. Once you have all the documents, you apply and you get it in 10 days. Sometimes a little bit more, but no more than that. You could do it in the Spanish consulate in the country where you are, or maybe you could do it also in Spain once you are physically here, for example, with a tourist visa, which is absolutely fantastic. And then to renew, you could renew it after a year, or if you do it from here, it's 2 years time residency or visa, and then 5 years. You need to maintain the investment, which means that at the end, if you make an investment in property, you need, and this is the word, maintain the investment. It does not mean that you cannot sell it. You could be able to sell it, but you have to buy another one in order to, whenever it's renewed, you maintain that minimum investment is 500,000 euros. So there is no limit. You can buy, get the Golden Visa, sell, but you need to reinvest absolutely in order to renew it.
Okay, Pedro, thank you very much. I have some questions for Maria, Geli, and Michael. I'll start with Maria and Geli. How much time do you guys have where you could hand over the keys for a client? I'm sure you have probably properties almost finished, property starting. So what is the average, Maria and Geli? Because we've got some questions about what is the length of time to buy an off-plan property with you guys, and then we'll make a question about the second hand. Over to you, Maria and
Very
Geli.
lucky, Ignacio, because we have a selection of key-ready properties, because if I understood Pedro very well, to start the golden visa, the property needs to be registered and the owner needs to have the title deeds. Is it correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, correct.
For
That's
that
exactly it.
reason, for that reason, we have a selection of villas, apartments, and townhouses that are ready for those clients who can't wait 2 years, 18 months, or 12 months. At this particular moment of time, we have completion properties that can be completed in April, October, or next year, June. But for this special clientele that needs to apply for the golden visa, we have a great selection of key-ready properties, or that could be ready in a couple of months. We have already
right. So you've got a variety, correct, Geli? And it depends on clientele you could offer depending to their own situation. Is that right?
Yes. Very individual, different locations, being on the beach, being close to Doña Pepa.
Different kind of properties.
Correct, correct. And as
so you've got the villas and the apartments as well. Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
Correct. Michael, I have a question for you on a second resale property from your expertise, because you've been practicing law many years and very famous in Andalusia. What is the time frame from the day you start drawing up the contract to completing if the due diligence goes well?
A normal sort of deposit contract for us, we'd stipulate a completion no later than 3 months, sort of basically no later than 3 months, but normally we'd expect to complete in a couple of months. That would sort of be the normal timescale.
Okay, good. Now, going with property expenses, Pedro, would you like to run a little bit more on saying a bit in Costa Blanca, and Michael could say in Andalusia, what is the as today the law stands, how much would it cost? Because we've got some questions. How much would it cost to buy a property in Costa Blanca?
Okay, I think it has already been said. I mean, obviously, when off-plan properties is the value of tax, which is 10%, and then it's the stamp tax needs to be paid, which is 1.5%. And this payment is value of tax is paid to the developer according to the payments that you do, and 1.5% stamp tax is paid at the end. Once it's completed, once you are the owner, you have 1 month time to pay. Also, we will have to incur in costs like notary property registry fees, which is after completion, after you have already paid all the full amount, and you are the owner and you get the keys, and that will be paid after completion in 1 month. This is a value tax plus a stamp tax with new properties. With second sale properties is 10% transmission tax. I have to say that in Valencia community, it looks like, and obviously this is something that we cannot prevent. I will say we have to have a crystal ball, but it looks like it's been announced by some political parties that will be reduced as well. Will be reduced inheritance tax as well will be eliminated wealth tax. So hopefully maybe we have some good news on this issue that will reduce costs for not just buying property, but also for people who comes and lives and being resident in this case, this region of Valencia.
Okay, very good. Michael, I know you're now on the win part, but you never know in the law, do you?
I almost feel guilty about talking about it with all you finally can. Okay, yeah. So basically, on new properties, the cost is very similar. We've just got a difference in the document tax. Instead of being 1.5 is 1.2. But on the second-hand properties, it is cheaper in Andalusia because our transfer tax is 7% as opposed to your 7% as opposed to your 10%. And we always tell our clients they're on a €300,000 property, they'll get change out of 10%, with all taxes and fees, including the wills and everything. As the prices get lower, the percentage could be slightly higher because we hit certain minimums for the notary fees, solicitor's fee, etc. And as you go above the 300,000, it can go down quite substantially, quite a lot less than the 10%. Yeah, so I think, like, you know, I think same thing that you're just saying right now, that in the Valencia region it's going to change as well, probably very soon. So that will be the that will be the end of that.
Michael, I've got another question for you, because you're an expert on inheritance in Spain. I think we've got some questions here about wills. I don't know if you've seen that question.
There's one there from someone that says whether they should make a will or not, or whether if they've got a will in the EU country, whether they don't need to make one in Spain. Is that the one?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so the question is, if you, where is it? I saw it before. I've lost it now. So many questions here, I can't see that. I did read it before though.
Spanish will. Do you have to have a Spanish will even though you already?
Question about a Spanish will. Do you have to have a Spanish will even though you already have one in another EU country? Okay, so it's not a question about whether you have to, it's a question about whether it's in your interest, okay?
Yeah.
And we just really can't say it enough. And I don't know, we still keep getting these questions, but the truth of the matter is that there is no doubt whatsoever you should have one will in each country where you have assets. And let me just quickly explain why that is. If they say, for example, that you're Irish and you have a will in Ireland saying it's for worldwide assets, so you come over to Spain, you decide to be a rebel, don't make a will in Spain, and you think, well, I'll just use, my family can use the one from the island. So now you pass away, you come to someone like me that handles probate in Spain, and what we're going to have to do is speak to the solicitor in Ireland, wait till they get probate in Ireland on the will in Ireland. So that means the first 4 months on the Spanish side are wasted. Then once they've done that, they've got to send them off to have the Hague's Apostle sent over to me. We then got to get official translations, which are very expensive. And then we may find that the will in Ireland, of course, that's been prepared by an Irish lawyer, mentions the word trust, for example, that doesn't exist in Spain, and all sorts of complications. So really, nobody should even ask themselves the question. They just need to make one will in each country where they got assets to avoid any problems. We over the years have dealt with lots of wills from the UK that we've had to convalidate to Spain. I can guarantee that some of them end up in an absolute mess. So that's not the route that you want to take.
Okay. Thank you, Michael. I've got some questions from Marco. Straight to EUROMARINA, Geli, Maria. I think we've got one here. And what are the valuations with property investment over the last 5 years? Are prices holding, increasing or decreasing? Well, over to you.
The prices in this area, it's increasing all the time. The demand, it's very much, our area, it's a very demanded area. And we are basically short of a product sometimes.
Last month in Costa Blanca, prices increased at 11%, just the last month in 2022. And we're expecting more increase in these years as well.
Right. So is a big demand plus the cost on everything, yeah?
Yeah, we're having a lot of investors from everywhere, not only Europe, not only America. We're starting having some investors from Asia as well.
You keep in mind, we have also a great selection of product. Every client will find the right property for him, the right, our architect team makes it specifically how they wish it. And we have a fabulous after-sale service, and we take care about every details. We would like to sell homes for clients. This area, I think we have a demand of more than 50 people looking to buy properties in the next 3 months.
We are also having a lot of company owners who wants to be located in Spain just to open a business in all Europe. And they take Spain as the door, the golden door to all those Europe and markets, you know, to be very accessible to this direction.
Right. Okay. Right. I don't know if Michael wants to add something else, because Michael from the panel, we're having a lot of questions. I don't know if you would like to run through any particular one. Geli and Maria, I don't know if you later on want to show some time of properties. I don't know if you have something to show, or probably it was already, you have some?
Sure. At the end, we have a video prepared for you as well about our properties and again, the areas.
Okay. Right. Michael, would you like to just comment any of the questions from the floor, from the panel? Yeah, you cover everything?
I can't see anything that's
right.
The thing is that
Pedro,
lots of them are very specific, so they won't be very helpful for the viewers. So we can answer those privately, I think. Yeah. Right.
Pedro, I think you've got some questions here as well about visas as well. But I don't know if you want to say something specific, or we just concentrate on the purchase process, because we've got John asking, buy and resell, is it possible to buy subject to survey? Can you reserve a property but withdraw if the structural survey is not favorable? Could you tell a little bit to John as well about the guarantees of the structure? I mean, there is a 10-year structural guarantee, and if you could comment something about it. I don't know if you could find the question.
I mean, I cannot find the question. I'm just seeing was some
right. Okay.
This one, buy and resell. If it is possible to buy subject to survey, is that right?
Yes, that's the one he's asking about, reserving a property, withdraw if there is a bad survey report. Yeah.
Obviously, this kind of surveyors, or what we call it in Spain, we say property architects that goes to the property and check the property currently regarding not just the basic things, also to make a checking on the structure, on the pillars, and I mean a deep inside. Obviously, this is in many occasions on the second sell properties, which has more than 30, 40, 50 years. And obviously something that we recommend that in those situations, not for new properties. New properties also has a guarantees because it has a process, a control by the municipality, but there are also some process of insurance companies that they guarantee with architects and engineers in order to check that the pillars and everything is properly done. It's already done all that process and control perfectly. But in second sale, we normally require some kind of architect if you want to check if something is left on the property. Obviously, survey. There is no, it doesn't appear in Spain, but obviously what we encourage is to the state agents to make a check-in and making a check-in on the property that the small things are duly done or not. In the new properties also, and it happens a lot, which is normal, is that you make like a nuggets lens. It's like, for example, this window do not open very well, or there's the microwave doesn't work, or the window or the shower doesn't work. This happens, and it's quite normal, even though they're very, very good builders. It's quite normal. You have to check it with each agent or yourself before completion, or even after completion. You just make a nuggets list, and the developer will will subsanate and will repay everything which needs to be done. I can see, Ignacio, some other questions regarding golden visa. I will answer them rapidly from Stuart and Kimberly. Thank you, Stuart and Kimberly. It says, does golden visa consider only the price of the property, or does it also include tax and all the associated purchase cost? It just includes the price. It just includes the price that you buy and you pay to the seller, but no, for example, no value add tax or no transmission tax or anything else. It's just a price. I can see there is another question regarding Tamara. I have already read it. It means about the financial means whenever you renew the 5 years. Golden visa is 1 year plus 2 years plus 5 years. And in each year, you need to show that you have enough money to live in Spain, 28,000 euros. Then the 2 years time, you need to show that you have at least for the 2 years time money to live in Spain without working, in case that you decide not to work in Spain. But the question is, what about the 5 years time? You need to show the 5 years. No, with at least showing 2 years. And I think that Tamara is saying that in the question, is also answering it. It's correct. It's just for the 2 years will be enough. Okay. What else, Ignacio?
Right. I think Maria said she has. Maria, do you have something to show on screen, or I don't know if you want to show something, or
Yes,
we just play a video?
Martha, yeah, it's a video that we have prepared about our company, our products, and the new
Say it again,
products
sorry?
that we have. It's a video that we prepared about our company, our products, the new projects that we have. So one friend can play the video.
No, Angélica, I have no more videos.
Oh, you don't have any more
maybe
videos? Okay. Okay, so it was the prior video that you played. Okay. Okay, well, I'm gonna just pass over to Juan for a testimonial for Martin and Mary, which I think is quite unique. It's quite unique, and you will enjoy how beautiful is their experience. Juan Fran, over to you.
We looked at probably 20, 30, 40 properties online, and the first time they saw this property, they said, "We found the place for you." And we called Ignacio, and we said, "Ignacio, we would like to make an offer on this property. We found our dream property in Alicante." In the States, we have a term, it's called a one-stop shop, where we could go and get everything done by a single team of people.
Love the climate, the weather, love being close to so much, the castle, and shops and restaurants, and the people are very helpful.
I love the culture. So as we look out our dining room window every morning, every evening, we see a castle that was built in the year 800. The United States wasn't even a figment of anyone's imagination in the year 800. So the culture, the history, and the people are as nice and as giving and as patient as any people we've ever met anywhere we've ever been.
We've found a wonderful guy that helps us with meats and cheeses and eggs. We get everything, produce. It's just, everything's fresh.
It's the best Parmesan. Excellent.
Most appealing about the Mercado for me is, as our daughter says, "See that tuna, like a big tuna fish laying there?" And I'll say, "Yeah," and she'll say, 8 hours ago that was out there swimming.
And then the oranges from Valencia are wonderful.
Yeah. It's frightening how much more affordable it is to live in Spain as it is in the United States. 473 euro for 1 year for our property taxes. Our last property tax bill in the US for a very nice but modest home was $12,000 US.
So that's a big difference.
Yeah.
And when you retire, you have to make your money last. So for us, we can travel and have a wonderful life.
Compared to what we spent in the States for health care coverage, it is a pittance in terms of the cost, and the coverages are even better. I think the best way to describe our day is, more often than not, late afternoon, we'll be sitting out on the terrace, maybe with a glass of wine and just talking. And we'll look at each other and we'll say, where did the day go? So to Mary's point, every day feels different, but every day feels very comfortable. Every day is kind of a new little adventure, and the time just seems to go very quickly, but also most enjoyably. We've been together for 40 years, and this is the best thing that we've done for ourselves in 40 years together.
The paperwork was tedious for our retirement visa. That was tedious.
If you're serious about doing it, go engage someone like Ignacio. Going into it, you know what you have to do, and then you have the peace of mind of knowing that this is what you have to do.
And doing it the right way.
Do it the right way. They help you every step of the way. And then you can get here and all that's done. You enjoy your life.
Okay, thank you very much, Juan. I think it's an interesting video when you see Michael happy people.
Ignacio, Pedro, I have to congratulate you on that video. It is fantastic. I mean, it's if you'd had actors do it, they wouldn't have done it better. It's perfect. It's perfect. Amazing. Amazing.
In 1 hour, they have presented with love, happiness, respect. Thank you so much for this experience. Thank you.
Yeah, they're very nice couple. They love the area, and they were willing to share it with their American fellows, their experience. So we say, hey, why not? And just say to somebody how's your experience. So that's good. Now I think we're having before. Obviously, we close the webinar. Michael, is there anything else you could recommend to buy a property in Spain in a safe way? Over to you.
I know it seems a bit sort of like beating our own drums, but I would say to line up a lawyer before you start the process is probably a good idea. Once you've narrowed it down to the region, I definitely think the Alicante area is fantastic. The same as I also like, as you know, the Marbella area, Costa del Sol. But I do think, especially after hearing Maria and Geli with it reminded me of the accent of Sofia Vergara. I don't know if it just sounded the way it speaks English. Anyway, yeah, Alicante, fantastic. And you know, I love going up there to see you because it is.
We need to see each other more often, Michael. Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
Is it something about Sofia Vergara? Actually, I'm from Colombia as well.
You're from Colombia?
Oh, yes.
Right. Yeah, she's from Barranquilla. I'm from Cartagena.
Yeah, because I was seeing you. You look like her, but then if I close my eyes and I listen to you, I thought, wow.
Thank you. You just made my day.
No, but you look like her, and you also sound like her when you speak English.
Really?
Yeah, it's
very good. I'm not gonna
well, that's very good. I don't know if Pedro wants to say something to the audience because I know we are having a lot of questions and we're running out of time and it's hard for us to answer to specific. As I said, Maria and Geli, they did provide their email address. They've got euromarina.es. Michael Davies from Solicitors.com. Pedro from Pellicer.com. Pedro, would you like to say something? I know you will be here forever talking about a lot of topics, but would you like to recommend the audience that are watching us?
I'm seeing many questions and I would like to answer them, but obviously what I recommend obviously is to engage an independent lawyer. And whenever you're going to buy a new property, engage a reputable company, a construction company, which is familiar in the area and it's very, very reputable. And if you're going to buy a second sale of a property, yes, also choose a proper estate agent and independent lawyer is a must in order to make a proper due diligence and help you on the process of buying a property.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'll just like to share with you a little bit on the reading here on the chat, just about conveyancing, what are the pitfalls, what you do to look into. And as a summary for you, buying a property in Spain is safe, but you need to do it in the right way. You need to, as Michael said before, seek an independent lawyer that helps you all the way through, hopefully from your home country until you get the keys. Even if you could just get more advice on tax planning, inheritance tax planning, as Michael stated, visa issues is even better, right? As I said, always seek independent legal advice. And I know we only have 1 hour at a time, you could click on the website from Michael, from ourselves, from EUROMARINA to see more about. We have a lot of webinars in the live TV about all sorts of topics. We're trying to update the blog very much. And actually, we're updating you on the law in Spain. What I'm going to do, if you wish, give a try as well. Juanfra is going to show you how to ask Alexa. And as well, you could ask questions. Alexa, they have already 100 questions and answers in case you need to have more advice. But alternatively, what you could do is organize a video conference with us, and we are happy to assist you with all your questions. Okay, I'm going to pass over to Juanfran, and we will see you in 15 days in our next webinar. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.
Bye, I'll see you. Bye.
How to buy a house in Spain as a foreigner.
To buy a property in Spain in accordance with the legislation, the first step is to check the legal situation.
What taxes do foreigners pay in Spain?
In total, there are 5 Spanish taxes that every foreigner is obliged to pay. 1.
How are inheritances regulated in Spain?
Inheritance tax is a progressive tax.
Where to apply for the Golden Visa?
The first thing you should do is go to the Spanish consulate in the country where you live. There you can request all the necessary documentation to obtain